Hey YouTube, Dan Otto here, coming at you with the Open Ultra League team using the core of Pidgeot and Cobalion. Super strong core. I'll go over why it's so strong in a minute. And I'm also going to go over moves here because as you can see, I've got Gust on my Pidgeot because I haven't TM'd it away as opposed to the Wing Attack. And then I have Bubble Beam on my Jellicent as opposed to Ice Beam. So let's start the battles. And then we'll go over, you watch the battles while I go over all the analysis of this. So the core of Pidgeot and Cobalion was a core that I've used, and I think others have used as well. It's just that they cover each other's weaknesses just so well, right? You have Cobalion who is a fighter steel, so it's a unique typing, but basically one of the only things you need to sort of worry about is like Ghost, because your double kick is resisted, your Sacred Sword is resisted, and you can only throw Stone Edge. So that's one of your main weaknesses. Your other main weakness is fire, but there's no like pure fire answer in Pidgeot. But Pidgeot is nice because like Trevenant Pidgeot just walls Trevenant. It deals okay against like Giratina because you can just Feather Dance, and Pidgeot was my MVP before, and I've used Gust, and I'm still using Gust, but I'll go over that in a minute. It was my MVP before just because you can Feather Dance a bunch of things. 2 times lower than the attack is insanely big. Brave Bird nuke option is huge. Paired it with Jellicent kind of for the reasons that I just said. Like I do okay against Giratina, but it's nice to have like a sort of, not an answer to it, but it's something that can also do pretty well against it. And then not that there's a ton of fire, but there's talonflame, stuff like that, so it's just nice to have an answer to fire when you're super weak to fire in the back. Plus you're also weak to fighting. Cobalion's weak to fighting because it's half steel, and Pidgeot half normal, so it's neutral fighter. So being able to have sort of an answer for that is nice too. Moveset. So I still have my Gust on my Pidgeot because this is my Gust best buddy Pidgeot that I had Gust on for many seasons now. And Wing Attack does help a lot in certain cases, and it depends what you value, because I was talking with my buddy about it because he's our Ultra League specialist in factions, and he said he actually doesn't prefer the Wing Attack over the Gust because one of Pidgeot's sort of strengths in the past here was that you're going to Feather Dance no matter what, but lowering their attack times 2 is only useful if you're going to have a move that can do something with all that extra time of not taking damage from them. And Wing Attack, I don't know the exact statistics. I remember them. I looked them up before. I think you give up something like 3 damage per second to get 2 extra energy per second. That's not exact, but it's somewhere in that range. So basically what's happening is with Wing Attack, you're just going to get to the Feather Dances faster. You're going to get to the Brave Bird faster. Which is great because you're like, oh yeah, why wouldn't I want to lower their attack faster? Or why wouldn't I want to have a nuke faster? And it's because, okay, you lower their attack, but your Wing Attack really isn't doing anything to them because you're 3 times lower damage than Gust per second, right? So what's the point of having the point is you can lower their attack times 2 faster, plus you can maybe Brave Bird faster, which is nice. But you don't provide really any fast move damage pressure, and that's what you get with Gust. So your trade-off is a little bit faster energy generation. Like look at those Gust chunks here. Wow, Gust chunk there. And like I can get to the Feather Dance and lower their attack. Like it's still not slow to get to the Feather Dance, but the Gust, like I would not be able to do that in previous, and I could still get to right here. This is a perfect example. I get to the Feather Dance, and now they can't do anything. My Gusts are chunking, and their Wing Attacks are doing nothing, and they can't do anything about it, right? So that's the trade-off. Depends what you want. If you just want something that can lower, if you want to just lower their attack times 4 quickly, like go with Wing Attack. If you want something that you can just get to Brave Bird faster, go with Wing Attack. If you want something that has fast move damage, go with Gust. Now the Bubble Beam versus Shadow Ball, and it is extremely, PvPoke will always recommend Bubble Beam because there are certain situations where it will land the Bubble Beam bait, right? So in certain situations, like perhaps like this, they would say you throw a Bubble Beam bait and they will shield, sort of thing. I'm just going straight Shadow Ball because I could take this out here and it's not worth the risk. Here is where you get some trouble. normal type Pokemon, because then you can only throw a Bubble Beam. And it's the same situation with, and now I'm switch locked against Giratina, so I'm in big trouble because they're going to get ahead of energy and not take a lot of damage here. If you had Ice Beam, you can throw Ice Beam against your Flyers, your Darks, your Normals. At least you would have a move which does decent damage against those. Why you run Bubble Beam is as a bait move that lowers the attack, right? There's nothing more satisfying than like having them shield a Bubble Beam and having the attack lowered and burning a shield at the same time. So I use Bubble Beam. Would I use Bubble Beam again? I don't know. I'm really undecided. I almost prefer the Ice Beam just because there are certain matchups that where you just like lowering their attack. But like, for example, that no, because Obstagoon's gonna be able to. I do catch a move here, but I think the damage is done. Like, even if you lower like the Obstagoon's attack like twice, you're still taking super effective Night Slash, and they still kind of hurt. So even if you lower the attack, I'd rather just do damage. So I think if I'd run this team again, I would run Ice Beam. And I'm down to a shield, so this game is already over. But yeah, so that's the team. That's the core. That's why it works. Attack harshly fell, so now I can just sort of get this damage here. Why? So actually, let me go back to the wing attack, because when would I use wing attack? I'm using this in the back, this core in the back. What I've seen successfully used is Pidgeot on the lead with wing attack, because what they're gonna do is they know they can just essentially feather dance you 2 times, right? Very quickly. The wing attack's gonna get to the feather dance pretty like almost before any charge move comes through, unless it's like a really like quick charge move. For the most part, you're gonna get to the feather dance first, 2 times lowered. Maybe they'll throw one move, and then they're gonna lower you times 4. So you're in the crappy situation, and I had this a couple times, where you are either 4 times lowered and you're staying in that matchup, or you're like, okay, I don't want to throw 4 times lowered attack. I've got to get out of here. And then you get out, and then they throw the feather dance on you, your next Pokemon, and you lose switch and your 2 times lowered attack. And that's where I think wing attack is probably better. When you have that lead wing attack Pokemon that you're just going to feather dance immediately, you know you're going to feather dance, you're going to reduce their attack significantly. Like, but look at that. I lowered this Charizard's attack times 2, and this Blast Burn still does a very good amount of damage, right? And I think they would have they'd still get a move off, right? Which is unfortunate. So feather dance is not the be all end all. It does provide such a significant advantage, but it just depends how you want to play it. Cobalion. It's interesting that I'm coming in here, just lowering their attack, knowing that they probably have to throw a Brave Bird in. I'm pretty tanky too. Oh, plus they have the Obstagoon on the lead. So I want to keep my Cobalion against it because I have no matchup here. So I'll just take the Brave Bird. You are useless to me. Obstagoon's coming in. We're both doing super effective each other, but double kicks, Sacred Sword, so fast on the charge. So fast. Oh, and they only have Obstruct. And this game's over because they only have Obstruct. If they had Cross Chop, it would be quicker. This is why I don't like Obstruct on Obstagoon. It's great if you get a great matchup that you can align. If you got a crappy matchup like this, Night Slash or Obstruct, you don't throw anything. I'm fighting. And this game's over. So that is the team. Lots more Ultra League teams coming your way. I've got some fun ones. I've got some hunting Pidgeots like with Melmetal. I got viewer submitted one, so we'll go over all those. Mixed with maybe 1 or 2 Great League Holiday Cup teams. So that is it. Thumbs up for the analysis. Thumbs up comments below whether you like Gust or Wing Attack. If you've tried both or one or what, let me know your thoughts. Any other teams in Ultra League that's working for you? How's your ELO right now? I'm filming this, like I said, I'm filming this probably a week in advance before this goes up. I'm filming right now. It is the 18th, and I'm at like 24 something hundred-ish, 24, 25, no, average, like 24, 25, something around there, which is fine, no rush. Plus I'm pumping out a bunch of teams, right? So if I need to grind ELO, I'll grind ELO later in the season. That's kind of how I play these leagues. I have fun early, doing a bunch of Pokemon, new teams, new Pokemon that I haven't tried, different movesets I haven't tried. Just have fun early, and then I'll grind ELO later. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.